Hello and welcome guys, welcome back to the channel. First of all, I hope you all are safe and doing great at your home. And to kill some time, I'm back with another video for you all, and this one is the very first edition of a completely new series of remembering the cult heroes. So in this series of RCH, I'll talk about the big stars and the legendary players whom we have almost nearly forgotten, and take a look at some of their videos, their career achievements and their playing style. But before I get into any of that guys, do you like this video? Share it with your friends, as this really helps the channel to grow, and it definitely is your love and continuous support that motivates me to bring you regular videos, to which I'm heartily thankful. And if you are new here, do hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you never miss a video by Talk Football. In this very first episode, we'll shed some light on the Brazilian boy Alexandre Pato. So just keep watching guys, as all of that is coming up for you right now. When I started to watch and play football back in 2008, thanks to one of the best games EA Sports ever made, the FIFA 2008. After getting used to it in a few months, I stumbled across this player, this 17 years old kid with an overall of 81. And just like today, I was very much keen and very much interested in knowing about the young players around the world. So I bought him in my team, in my Ajax team, and played him alongside Huntelaar in a 4-4-2 formation. After a few seasons, when Huntelaar stopped growing after 84, Pato shot till 88, and then he hit 90, and then 94. And now 12 years since then, Alexandre Pato is 30 years old and plays for Brazilian side Sao Paulo. At 30, playing in Brazilian league. So did something go right, or did it all go very wrong? Now let's rewind to 2006, when a 16-year-old kid made debut for Brazilian outfit Internacional. He went on to score 12 goals in 27 appearances and helped them win the 2006 FIFA Club World Cup. Already youngest in the team, fame started to creep in. He started to see the light of stardom and money and fame. With such a high potential and deservingly proclaimed to be one of the best in the future, Pato did win 3 titles for Internacional. He didn't let anyone doubt his talent, as he scored on his debut right after kickoff and ended up giving 2 assists before being subbed out. He broke Pele's record of being the youngest player ever to score in a game organized by FIFA at just 17 years and 102 days against African club Al Ahly. Then later in August 2007, Pato joined AC Milan for 24 million euros. Already a big name and a huge price tag on his head, he had tons of offers from the major European teams, but Pato started for Milan in a 5-2 win against Napoli, scoring again on his debut. But being just 17 years of age, he had to wait until 18. That season, he ended up scoring 9 goals and giving 2 assists in 20 matches in total. The hype was real. His talent was real. Managed under Carlo Ancelotti and playing with the likes of Dida as goalkeeper, Cafu, Maldini and Nesta at the back, Gattuso, Kaká, Seedorf and Pirlo in the middle, and up front with Filippo Inzaghi and El Phenomenal Ronaldo. He had the best around him. In 2008-2009 season, he was joined by David Beckham and Ronaldinho. In his first year at AC Milan, he had a .45 goal to game ratio, which is less when compared to an 18-year-old Kylian Mbappe's .59, but Pato did play twice as less as Mbappe. So now you have a clear picture of what Pato used to be. In 2008 and 2009 season, he scored 18 goals in 42 appearances with a .44 goal per game rate. As a 19-year-old kid, he scored 14 times in 30 games in 2009-2010 season. The next season was his best, as he scored 16 times and gave 14 assists in 33 appearances, winning the Golden Boy Award in 2009, becoming the first Brazilian to win Serie A Young Player of the Year award, as Milan won the league as well as Supercoppa Italiana later in 2011. He also scored the 5th fastest goal in the Champions League history in just 24 seconds. And everything went downhill for Pato from right here. Alexandre Pato is often regarded as what could have been. In fact, he is the perfect example of that phrase. Just after his exploits in Barcelona, Pato suffered a light hamstring injury towards the end of the season, which became much worse later on. He later went on to suffer 8 muscular injuries in 2 years at Milan and scored just 6 goals in 25 appearances, and was later sold to Brazilian side Corinthians for 15 million euros. People thought he's back again as Pato scored with his first touch on his debut, but he ended up having a dry spell of 2 years, scoring just 17 times in 67 appearances. The world was already witnessing the downfall of Alexandro Pato the Great, and many thought it was just his injuries. But after digging a bit into his personal life, it was much clearer that injuries were mostly a cover-up for his real problems. Later, Pato bounced from one club to another between 2014 and 2018, from playing in China to a brief spell in La Liga at Villarreal, scoring 6 goals in 24 appearances, and then at Chelsea in 2015 and 2016 season. Pato was declared by many to be finished. And he had his reasons for his downfall. Apart from being hugely injury prone, Pato, a rich, young, good looking guy, was a womanizer. A lot has been said about him on various websites, but here we'll only remember him for all his positive points and neglecting the negatives. Sadly, Pato ended up being the victim of his own potential, setting up a perfect example for all the new lads out there. But we will forever remember him as playing in black and red. Some of his best moments were against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu in a 3-2 win for Milan, his 3-0 exploits at Napoli, his 3-0 win against Inter in the derby, scoring in just 24 seconds against Barcelona, were probably his best moments among several others. Currently playing at Sao Paulo, Pato played with a smile like all the Brazilians. He was quick, he was agile centre forward with the excellent technical ability and an incredible eye for goal. Already considered to be one of the world's most promising footballing stars in his youth days at Milan, his former manager Dunga and Ancelotti often related his prowess to some of the legends of the game. He was a versatile forward, capable of playing anywhere in the front three, a main centre forward or either a second striker, sometimes even on the flanks. Predominantly right-footed, he could hit very well with both of his feet with power and had a fluent dribbling skill, beating defenders easily with his electric pace. These strengths led him to be one of the greatest FIFA cards ever made in FIFA 10 with an overall of 89 with 90 in both pace and shooting. He was a gem, a must-buy in every career mode. Despite not being particularly tall or physically imposing for a footballer, Pato was very effective in air and accurate with his heading. His playing style included little runs from deep like how we often see Neymar, and just like him, Pato was often fouled, which led to free kicks or penalties. He was good at both and liked to shoot a lot from distance, often surprising the goalkeeper when off his line. Like most Brazilians, Pato was calm on the ball, very composed with his touches. He was very quick and agile, therefore did a lot of nutmegs and often juggled his way. He had a habit of cutting inside from the left and scoring past the keeper, and he did that numerous times. Pato in his best days at Milan scored 63 times in 150 appearances for the side and scored a total of 178 career goals in 444 appearances, winning the Under-20 South American Championship with Brazil in 2007, Copa Libertadores winners in 2006 with Sporting Club Internacional, won back-to-back Club World Cup in 2006 and 2007 with Internacional and then with AC Milan. Later he won the Serie A once in 2010 and Italian Super Cup in 2011-2012 season. Being one of my most favorite players back in his days at Milan, Alexandro Pato has a special place in our hearts. But the what could have been tag is often thrown around still up till this day. But let's just remember him for what he was and is right now rather than what he could have been. That's why Pato is our first pick for Remembering the Cult Heroes series, as we want to teach people and young players watching not to judge someone based on their failures. Well, that's all for today's videos, guys. I appreciate you all for watching along. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, drop a subscribe if you haven't up till now, and comment down below whom you wanna see next in our second episode for Remembering the Cult Hero series. I'll be back here soon. Until then, peace out.
È giusto così. 10 minuti, il Milan è in vantaggio. Un'area di rigore, Toni saltato, Pato 2-1, ma che gol ha fatto Pato? Straordinario, straordinario.